Lenovo has revived the Moto X series, which was Motorola's flagship lineup once upon a time. The Moto X4 is the spiritual successor to the Moto X Style, which launched around 2 years ago. However, times have changed and now the X4 is more of a mid-range option, fighting for space in the sub 25,000 rupees price segment. Let's see how it stacks up against the competition. Built primarily from aluminium and glass, the Moto X4 feels every bit as premium as its higher-end Z series siblings. The rounded edges make it easy to grip and the display is a comfortable size for one-handed use. The Moto X4 does feel a bit heavy though. The glass back gives it a premium look but is also incredibly slippery, and this phone keeps sliding off surfaces even if there's the slightest tilt. The Moto X4 lacks a fancy 18:9 display like the ones most companies are pushing these days, but honestly, we didn't really miss it on the X4. The Full HD 5.2-inch IPS panel produces punchy colors and is very legible under sunlight. The buttons on the right are a bit too small and all the same size, so it isn't easy to make out which is which just by feel. The fingerprint sensor is quick at authentication and you can use it for navigation through the Android UI or to lock the phone, which is something we grew accustomed to pretty quickly. This also hides the on-screen navigation bars, so you get a bit more screen real estate. Lenovo has kept the headphone socket and you get a Type-C port for data and charging, plus turbo power for fast charging. There's a hybrid dual nano SIM tray on the top, which supports either 2 SIMs or 1 SIM and a microSD card. 4G VoLTE also works well. The Moto X4 is powered by Qualcomm's Snapdragon 630 mobile platform, which offers similar CPU and GPU performance as the older Snapdragon 626 in the Moto Z2 Play, but with upgrades to the modem and other multimedia features. Our test unit was the variant with 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage, but you can save a little money if you choose the 3GB RAM and 32GB storage variant instead. The Moto X4 is also IP68 certified for dust and water resistance and has FM radio, NFC, and a earpiece that also doubles up as the loudspeaker. In India, the Moto X4 doesn't support Alexa and isn't part of the Android One program, unlike the version sold in other countries. You do get the usual suite of Moto apps though. Moto Actions lets you access certain features by performing physical gestures. Moto Display shows you information such as the time, notification, and battery level when the screen is off. The phone also has its own night mode, which can be scheduled. Moto Voice lets you launch apps and tasks using the keyword Show Me. This works well even when the screen is off. Moto Key is a brand new feature debuting with the X4. It lets you securely log into your Windows PC and websites using the phone's fingerprint scanner. It uses Bluetooth to connect between your phone and your PC, and a desktop app is also required. Currently, only Internet Explorer and Chrome are supported. Setting it up is a simple process, and once done, Moto Key will offer a prompt the first time you log into a website. The next time you go to login, you'll simply have to use your fingerprint. In practice, it works well and is a useful feature to have. The Moto X4 has another interesting feature called Wireless Sound System, which lets you connect any 4 Bluetooth speakers simultaneously. Once connected, you can either have them all playing together or set different ones to act as left and right channels. In the latter mode, you should use the calibration function once to get all the speakers in sync, otherwise they would be out of sync and sound terrible. Other than some of the custom icons and Moto features, Android 7.1.1 is left to its stock look and feel. There are also several pre-installed apps that can't be uninstalled, like LinkedIn and Outlook. The display's touch response is very good, and apps and games run pretty smoothly. We had no issues playing heavy titles, and we didn't really feel any significant overheating. The earpiece produces decently loud audio for media and voice calls, but we missed the stereo effect of 2 speakers. Lenovo has gone with dual rear cameras consisting of a 12-megapixel primary sensor and an 8-megapixel sensor with a wide-angle lens. You can switch between the two in all shooting modes other than depth mode, which uses both. You can use either lens for video too, but you can't switch in the middle of a recording. The main sensor is relatively quick to focus under good light, but HDR is slow, which introduces shutter lag. This gets progressively worse in low light. The camera also tends to overexpose scenes, and we often needed to intervene manually before taking shots. Macros are fairly detailed and colors are well represented. The wide-angle sensor shows you more of any scene, but there is noticeable barrel distortion, and this only works well with landscapes. The quality of shots taken with the secondary sensor is noticeably inferior as details are flaky. Low-light shots are also visibly noisier. Spot color is a fun mode to play with, and manual controls are available too. Depth mode feels clunky to use and doesn't really work too well on human subjects. 4K video isn't too impressive here, as there's no stabilization and there's lots of chroma noise in low light. Focusing speeds are also very sluggish even during the day. The camera app also tries to recognize landmarks and objects. It doesn't work terribly well for landmarks, but it does recognize most objects and provides web links for them. It's like Google Lens, only slower and less accurate. The front camera captures decently detailed selfies, but the front LED flash is blinding and messes up the white balance nearly every time. The 3000 mAh battery in the Moto X4 will last you an entire day on a single charge even with heavy use. We played games, surfed the web, streamed music and used GPS apps like Uber and still managed to get a full day worth of use. Fast charging works well too, and we recorded a 50% charge in about half an hour when using the bundled charger. The Moto X4 is a solid offering at this price point, and its closest competitor in terms of features is the Samsung Galaxy A5 2017 edition. Between the two though, we still recommend the Moto X4 for its overall feature set. Photo quality is a bit of hit or miss, which puts this phone more in the line with its Moto G siblings than the premium Moto Z series. With a starting price of 21,000 rupees, the Moto X4 is a good pick if you're looking for a compact phone that looks good and works well in most regards. So thanks for watching our review, and for all things tech, log on to gadgets360.com.